Sam Hewit, welcome to the Brokers Playbook podcast. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You're,
I was less excited when I walked in and saw that shirt.
oh, this old thing, my
Yeah.
Houston Texans shirt.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so funny, right?
Yeah.
It's Houston,
Funny.
Houston being the better team of the Texas-based teams.
Yeah, not really.
For
No.
for those of our listenership that don't know, Sam's a Cowboys fan. So,
The better team of
oof,
the Texas
oh, that
teams.
just hurts to hear.
Yeah.
What did Dak Prescott say in the news the other day? Something like he's not going to have 10 interceptions this year. Did you read this?
I did.
He,
And I believe him.
yeah,
Because I'm a true fan.
I also believe him. He's going to have 21. Like it's not 10.
I'm sorry, who is your quarterback for the Texans?
It's
again?
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah,
He's a
I've never heard of
stud.
him. Yeah. I
Oh
don't know
my!
if we've ever
Never heard of
I
him.
don't know if I've heard of him.
Heisman finalist 2 years in a row. Get
Woo!
it? Woo.
Good segue to our conversation today.
Shout out CJ. Come on, man.
Does the finalist spot count? Does almost made it count? We should talk about that today.
Finishing second is okay, right? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Oh goodness. Okay, Sam. What's your title with Royal LePage Signature? Canada's largest Royal LePage brokerage, correct?
That's correct. We are the largest independently owned franchise. I am the director of realtor development, which is just a fancy way of saying I am in charge of helping the realtors at Royal LePage Signature develop predictable, repeatable, growing businesses. So my mandate is that I develop programs, training programs, content, ideas, marketing materials. Basically, the goal of my role is that you show up as a realtor and you say, I want to do X number of deals a year. And I say, okay, here's how you're going to get there. And here are the tools and resources we have to provide to you.
It's amazing. How many realtors at the brokerage?
We've got 1,500.
1,500. You do that for 1,500 individual people. That's incredible.
Correct.
I try my best to do it for 55 here with the REC Canada team.
You do a great job.
I do a
with
great
55.
job. That's all I really wanted to hear.
You do different things for 55.
This
Yes.
is the Dallas Cowboys versus the Houston Texans. That's there's your analogy.
This is on record, right? We're recording
I
this.
think I hope we're
I
recording
just heard
this.
you say that the Dallas Cowboys are the better
no,
Texas
they're
team.
just bigger. That's what it is. It's bigger.
They're bigger.
Fine. It's fine.
I don't think they're bigger.
It's fine. We'll be okay. So you help them build predictable businesses. You're able to take point A and get them to point Z.
Exactly. So yesterday I had a realtor come in to see me, and last year she would, or I guess 2 years ago now, she would have done, I think, 10 transactions, which with price points in the GTA is a healthy business. Certainly not where she wants to stay, because again, that predictable, repeatable, growing business is a piece of the puzzle. And we've had some really good chats over the last 24 months. And last year she really struggled. She had a really hard time. She was not where she wanted to be. She came in and she said, I don't know. So I said, okay, well, we got to get serious about what you're doing. So let's sit down, let's craft a plan, let's take all the tools and resources available. She came in yesterday to see me just off the cuff. She was working on a deal last night. The market's obviously changed a little bit since that second Bank of Canada announcement. And she came in to talk about the offer. And then she said, I wanted to tell you a secret, but don't tell anybody. So I'm not telling anyone except for all the listeners and you and Christina in the room. But she said, I actually am very excited to tell you that I surpassed, if I finish this deal tonight, that'll be my 20th deal this year.
Incredible.
And it's the end of July for context for your listeners. Mm-hmm. So, those really are the success stories that I want. And those really are the instances where I can very clearly draw a line between, what we offer. Now, the secret sauce is she has to do the work.
Execution.
Right? Exactly. So, my mandate is that I provide the platform and the tools, but, you got to not get the ball intercepted.
Oh, just shots fired, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I think it was Bill Belichick a few years ago. Their mandate for the Patriots, their like team slogan for the remember that was "Do your job."
Do your job.
So I've said that a few times to folks. Like I give you the tools, but you got to go do your job. You got to do the work.
So it's execution. I think here is the moral of the story. I love it. One of the things that we've taken away from what you guys do at Signature is your connectivity plan. Mm-hmm. Right? If I'm not mistaken, it's 8 relatively basic steps here to then expand upon,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
execute, and things just happen to fall in place.
Yes.
So an action taken equals a result that you're hoping for.
That's correct.
Walk us through some of these 8 points, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so it's actually even simpler than that. So the idea behind the connectivity plan is you take one piece of content or thing, for lack of a better word. I got to figure out a better word for thing, but you take one thing, one thing, and you deliver it 3 different ways to your audience. So as an example, I had someone came in to see me yesterday, and he said, I'm really having a tough time right now. So I said, okay, well, what does your connectivity plan look like? What are you doing? And he said, well, I don't have anything on the schedule for July and August. What should I do? And I said, I think you should do CMAs. You should do comparative market analysis for all of your clients and everyone connected to you. It doesn't have to be someone you've done a deal with. But, my hairdresser, for example, I've never done a deal with her. But every time I go to her house, to her basement to get my hair done, she asks me about the market and what's going on. So I said to him, I think you should do CMAs. So the CMA is the one thing or the item. And so you can take that initiative and you can do the CMA and you can do them on video, on BombBomb is my suggestion. So you record your screen, you have the most recent sales, you do a quick 1-minute video to the client or person you're connected to, you send it to them, and that's one touch point. So you need 3. Then you can follow up with a phone call in a week or 2 and say, hey, Bobby, just wanted to make sure you got the CMA I sent to you. Great. And then if you don't answer the phone, I can send you a text, or I can also send you a CMA on email, or I can put up on my social media. If you're interested in knowing how the changes in the market have impacted the value of your home, reach out to me for a market analysis. So that would be the third kind of piece of the puzzle. And so when I have agents that kind of are struggling, and I talk about the connectivity plan, anyone that works at Signature is very tired of hearing me talk about this. They're very exhausted. Like my friends that are not Cowboys fans are very tired of hearing me talk about the connectivity plan. But it really does give you a foundation and a roadmap. And when you and I have chatted, Bobby, about your team, and you've said to me, like, how do you kind of keep people focused? Like, this is real estate is a sales-based, exciting, dynamic industry, but it's incredibly reactive and it's hard to build structure.
Yeah.
And so all I tried to do by creating this connectivity plan is give people structure where they don't get kind of lost in the weeds with their prospecting efforts. They have a plan and they stay committed to it. And further to that, the idea behind the connectivity plan is it doesn't change every year. You develop, this is the thing, the initiative every month, and it stays like that. So if I look at some of the really successful agents in our company, they do the same thing every year.
Standard operating procedures.
Standard operating procedures.
Year over year.
Year over year.
Actual business.
Correct.
Incredible.
That's what I'm trying anyways. It's not foolproof.
Well, tell me about it not being foolproof. I mean, we actually built this into our CRM for our agents. So we took a huge I don't know, portion of what you had going on, and we gave them ideas. So like every January, they get a task reminder that says, hey, this is happening. Is it mortgage checkup time? What in your business is going to be your one thing done 3, 4, 5 ways? Because a CRM in theory will allow you to do so.
Yes, absolutely.
And are you pushing it out? So the conversation actually dumbs all the way down to, what are we doing today? What is the next action taken? What is the result we want, and how are we going to connect those dots?
Yeah.
I love it.
And I think it's so awesome for you and your team and your listeners who are interested in being part of the REC team, because you can do things that I just can't offer, right? Like I would love to be able to build it into a CRM and send out a reminder, and I'd love to be able to have that level so that the people on your team just have to open their CRM and go, what am I doing today? I don't have the ability to kind of go that deep with it, but the fact that you do, I think, is even more of a value add, because people on my team will say to me, just tell me what to do. And I'm like, well, I am, but I'm not there every day. Like, I'm giving you the guideline. And so I think it's awesome you're able to do that for your people, because that's even more accountability, which we all need.
It's what CMOS pays me to do, right? The big guy. So for all of the listenership, we actually took portions of what you've got going on and then what I was able to build in the background. And up on the Brokers Playbook website, brokersplaybook.com, we've got a Brokers Playbook branded connectivity plan.
Awesome.
So anybody looking to take that, right, and sort of run with it, we call it a lead magnet, if you will, just making realtors better day over day. So awesome. That's up on the website, brokersplaybook.com. You'll find it right on the homepage, everybody. Sam, now we're not going to talk real estate for a moment.
Oh, okay.
Why for real are you a Cowboys fan? What is going on? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. The real thing that I want to talk about is Taylor Swift today. I saw you in Denver.
I was in Denver.
You're in Denver. You're a Swiftie.
I'm a Swiftie. You may not know that. I think that, look, on the personal side, I think she's incredibly talented. I think she's very gifted musically. I think if you listen to her lyrics and the way she can tell a story in a song, I really do think she's, a legend of our time for sure. I also think there's so many things that you can take from her from a business
I
capacity.
love this. I knew you were going to say
You
this.
did? Okay. I mean, I listen, the reason why I love sports and the reason why, I love, I love golf, I love football. I think I just love the stories behind the players. And, when you look at Taylor Swift was your question, but we can also talk about the Cowboys and the Texans. But if you look at Taylor Swift, and you look at, first of all, her show and her Eras tour, the show is 3.5 hours. She's on the stage.
It's wild. Yeah.
She comes off the stage to, do a quick costume change and they change the set and then she's back up. And she's wearing, high-heeled sparkly boots. I'm in the audience in running shoes and my feet hurt. I'm hot, like I'm sweating, and she's just looking beautiful and doing her thing.
So she's an athlete. You think she'd play quarterback for the Texans?
Well, she might need a quarterback for the Texans. She might be better than CJ. She'd probably win the Heisman.
Poor guy.
I know, poor guy. Sorry, CJ. But I think, when you look at her show, what I think is so incredible is that it looks easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you look at very successful people, including realtors, they make it look easy. A successful agent will complete a transaction for a client, for a buyer or a seller, and the goal at the end is the buyer and seller goes, wow, that was amazing. There was no problems, no hiccups. If there was, they handled it professionally and it looked really easy, to the point that sometimes the client goes, man, you made all that money to do this, but they don't see what actually goes on in the background, right? And I think it's the same with Taylor Swift. I watched a 3.5 hour show that was spectacular, but you don't see the hours and hours of rehearsals and the literal thousands of people involved in the background, the security guards, the stage hands, the lighting people, the music people, the audio, the backup dancers, all you do is watch the show and go, wow, she's so great. That looks so easy. I mean, maybe I could do, I mean, I know I couldn't do it, but I'm sure there were people watching thinking I could do
Oh,
that.
wow. Yeah, it's me. Wow.
But I think that for this business, I argue it's a little bit of the same thing. I tell our team, it's good if it looks easy to the client, that's what you want. You want that Staples easy button that I have on my desk. But at the same time, sometimes it goes against us because they don't see all of the effort and time and energy that goes into the back end of what it is we do. They don't see the hours and the hours on the connectivity plan and the prepping for the listings and the research and the analyzing of the data and the stats and the learning. And, they just see you show up with this really pretty presentation that I've prepped for everybody and ta-da! Some glittery Louboutins that Taylor's strutting across the stage in. But, it really is. I have so much respect for her as a brand and what she's been able to accomplish. And, one of the things we talk about at Signature is this idea of building advocacy in your database, right? That's the idea behind the connectivity plan, to build advocates. And when you go to a Taylor Swift concert, that lady has advocates. I'm not a diehard.
So much so that our prime minister is begging her to put Canadian dates on this tour.
Begging.
That's wild. Wild. World leaders. So I don't think that every realtor in the business is aspiring for world leaders to be their advocates here.
I mean,
yeah. I love it. Sam, thanks so much for joining us today. All right.
Thanks for having me.
You're the absolute best. I take so many things away from
You're
every
the best.
every conversation that we have, and that
thank you.
I love that you're a Taylor Swift fan. I'm also a Taylor Swift fan.
Yes.
So if Taylor's listening, no, I'm just kidding.
Are you going to tell us your Taylor Swift story?
Oh my goodness.
For the audience?
For the audience, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you said you were going to.
So my background here. So flip the script. Sam always does this to me. Puts me on the spot. I love it. I come from chiropractic. I went to chiropractic college in Texas. I used to work in a clinic. And one of the things that I did as sort of, I would call it a loss leader, if you will, was I worked with, for free, 2 hours a week with student athletes at one of the local high schools.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Okay. The football team in Texas and the baseball team at this Texas high school, they had their own chiropractor. Every other team didn't. So I'd work with the golf team. I'd work with the girls volleyball team. It was wonderful. And they would come in and I would always just change you remember Pandora music? Do you ever hear this? Pandora Radio was wonderful.
Oh, okay.
You could take, what did I do? The Temptations, Taylor Swift, another band that I liked, and one country band, the Randy Rogers Band. And I would throw a mix together, right? And Pandora had the AI to just pump it out.
So this is before Spotify.
Way before Spotify.
Yeah,
I'm
date
old.
yourself a little
I'm
bit. Okay,
old.
all right.
Okay. So I'd throw this on and Taylor Swift would come on a lot. And then a friend of mine bought me this shirt. It just says T Swift on it. It's my favorite shirt, T Swift. So I'd wear it to the clinic on those days for fun, right? The kids would come in and they'd be like, well, why do we listen to Taylor Swift? Like, what's with this shirt? And I don't know what it was, but I read something where her brother, Austin, I think, right, they lived in Nashville, right? And the kids didn't know where I came from. They always just knew that I was from North, whatever. So I told them that, I stopped in Nashville. I went to Vanderbilt for a minute, just complete bullshit. Okay. But I met her brother. We became really good friends. And Taylor and I dated behind the scenes for a little while. So I just made this story up. It was just ridiculous just to mess with these kids, right? But then it caught on. So imagine the way that a rumor would fly through a high school, right? The best part of this was this lost leader. So the parents would start coming in and be like, well, what's up with little Jane? Well, this, and this. Well, my back kind of hurts too, right? And it worked great for business.
Yep.
But then I had like moms and dads coming. It's like, did you date Taylor Swift? You know that the kids are talking about this, right? So end of the first year of doing this, the golf team invites me out for a round with the team. And I get to golf with these kids. And at the end of the day, they give me the Taylor Swift Golf Award. I have it somewhere at home. Right, presented at their like awards banquet. So there's the football team getting an award and the baseball team won state, all these things. Like Dr. Bobby comes up and gets the Taylor Swift Award for golf excellence in Deer Park, Texas. It's just hilarious. So on and on and on. I've loved Taylor Swift anyways, and then everybody in that particular region thinks that I dated her for a moment. So so now it's out that I didn't actually date Taylor Swift.
Oh, it's out now.
Well, now it's out
now it's out now. So Taylor, he's taking it back.
Yeah.
He's going on the record to say
on the record
just a rumor
for all 17 of our listeners.
So you've had quite the story. So you were a doctor, a chiropractic doctor, because I know there's a lot of
somebody would say fake doctor. Yeah,
I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah, my mom would. It's fine.
Okay, so you were a DR. You had the doctor title.
I do still.
And you lived in Texas.
I lived in Texas.
You picked the wrong football team.
I love the Texans.
And so how'd you end up in Canada?
No, I'm from here.
Oh, you're from here.
I was born and raised Cambridge, Ontario.
Cambridge, Ontario. And then you went, so what made you end up in just chiropractic school?
So there's only one chiro school in all of Canada.
Yes.
Right?
It's right by the Don Mills office,
exactly,
right? Yes.
Exactly. North York, Ontario. CMCC, Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College. You apply there and it's everybody who doesn't get into medical school or physical therapy school and all those schools, it's their backup. Right. So
highly subscribed.
So like 2% of applicants get in. But I went down to the US and started researching schools, St. Louis, Boston, LA. LA was a disaster. And then I went to Houston, and Houston actually felt a lot like home. So it's actually very similar to here. So cost of living was amazing. It helped me start to build a real estate portfolio. And I just sort of loved it. I fell in love with everything about Texas. The only thing that wasn't there was my family. So when my brother called in 2015 and said he was getting married and I want you to be my best man, and I had met his wife 3 whole times, like I thought, you know what, dummy? Like, let's get back home.
Yeah.
So,
go home.
So I sort of dropped it off, but that's when real estate really took off for me, to be fair. So it's the portfolio grew. I don't have to be in a windowless room claiming to small children that I dated Taylor Swift any longer. Like it's
now you're in a windowless room talking to me.
Talking to you. It's the equivalent.
Is this a step up? I don't know.
Right? The only constant here is that people keep shitting on the Texans. That's all I really. So yes. We've encompassed connectivity plan, Taylor Swift, and that the Houston Texans are definitely the best team, NFL team in the state of Texas, south of Dallas, apparently.
Yeah, okay.
They're the only team south of Dallas.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll
give you that one.
Sam, you're the best. Anybody looking to connect with Sam, RoyLePageSignature.com.
That is correct. Or you can find me on Instagram. I am Sam_Hewit with 1 T. Or you can find me through the Roy LePage Signature Instagram page as well. We just started a TikTok.
Are you dancing? Tell me you're dancing.
I will eventually dance.
Yeah?
Right now I'm not dancing, but I will eventually dance.
I will absolutely dance on the Signature TikTok.
You will?
100%.
Oh gosh, heard it here first. Okay.
They won't let me do it on the Brokers Playbook one.
Why?
I don't know. Simo says that I don't have the rhythm. I don't get it.
Oh, well, you can only dance on the Signature TikTok if you can actually dance.
Oh, it's on. It's
Oh,
on.
it's on.
Mark it down.
It's on. All right. It's on. I think we have a friendly bet on something else too. I feel like we bet on something else
You
too.
and I are degenerates. We just bet on everything. It's wonderful.
I think we bet on the next time the Texans play the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Amazing, Sam. Everybody knows where to connect with
Thank
you.
you for having
And
me.
for all the listeners, we got a version of the connectivity plan up on brokersplaybook.com. Right on the homepage is a download for you. Amazing. Sam, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.